The Wolf Among Us 2 is an upcoming episodic graphic adventure game that is being developed in a partnership between Telltale Games and AdHoc Studios. The title is also being published by Telltale Games. The game is the follow-up to 2014's The Wolf Among Us and has been teased for the past few years. Let's break down the release leaks, development timeline, cancelled version, and more. As always, all the sources will be linked in the description below, so make sure to check those out and support those original writers. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Fonct2 for updates on all future videos. With that out of the way, let's get into everything we know about The Wolf Among Us 2. I want to start by covering the ending of the first game in the series, The Wolf Among Us, so if you haven't played the game yet or didn't finish it, either click off this video or jump to the next section of the video. If you're still here, the story of Wolf Among Us ended mostly as one would expect. Bigby is able to defeat the Crooked Man and breaks up his crime ring, but the game is left on a pseudo cliffhanger when Nerissa leaves at the end of the game and tells Bigby, quote, "You're not as bad as everyone says you are," which is the same thing that his informant Faith told him, and who we thought was killed in the first episode, and the final decision players are given is to either let Nerissa leave or run after her. And after the ending, fans started to speculate what this means, such as if Nerissa was Faith and what bigger implications it has for the story. And if you were hoping that this ending would be cleared up in the sequel, this doesn't seem to be the case. In August of 2017, the head of creative communications, Job Stouffer, told PC Games that, quote, "It's absolutely not a cliffhanger. It's an ambiguous ending that's left open to interpretation." And that for the most part is what you need to understand about the ending of Wolf Among Us moving forward to the sequel. It sounds like they aren't really going to tie over too many elements like this cliffhanger, and if anything, it'll be its own new story with just a lot of the same or returning characters. Then we can move to 2017 and discuss the original and cancelled version of The Wolf Among Us Season 2 that the team was working on before the fall of Telltale. The news about the sequel was released at San Diego Comic-Con 2017 with an announcement trailer by reading mean tweets by the voice actors in the game. The only returning voice actors the team would confirm at this time were Adam Harrington, who will return as Bigby Wolf, and Aaron Yvette, who is back as Snow White. The team was light on other details, except the game would be returning or releasing sometime in 2018. They don't give a title or any other teases, and we're keeping this version of the game very secretive. And the team returning to this project and making a Season 2 really shouldn't have been a shock to anyone. Throughout 2017, the team had discussed that they wanted to return to The Wolf Among Us, not only because the game was such a massive hit for the studio, but also because they liked working on it. And the reason they didn't return to it sooner is because they were already working on too many other projects and were waiting for the right time to return to the IP. Development continued on the project until May of 2018, when Telltale gave an update on the project. The studio delayed the title out of the second half of 2018 and moved the new release to an undisclosed time in 2019. The post from the studio said the delay, quote, "comes as a result of a few fundamental changes here at Telltale since we first announced the game last summer. Most importantly, we're committed to exploring new ways to tell our stories. Taking this extra time will allow us to not only focus on the quality, but also to experiment and iterate in order to craft something truly special. Ultimately, our goal is to deliver an experience deserving of the passion you've consistently shown for The Wolf Among Us, and these extra months will give us the time we need to do our best work. We're extremely enthusiastic about how the game is progressing so far, and we can't wait to dig even deeper." And at the time, the delay did not seem as big of a deal as we would later learn, because just a few months later, in September of 2018, Telltale announced the studio would be closing completely, and only 25 employees would be left at the company to fulfill the obligations they have already promised. And one of the games that was not going to continue development, or was in a very tight contract, was The Wolf Among Us 2. Even till this day, not too much is known about this cancelled version of The Wolf Among Us 2, and we probably never will. And fans at this point thought we wouldn't see any sort of follow-up, and this is kind of where the game would close and we would just have to live with the first season. Luckily, fans didn't have to wait too long to get some good news about the IP. In August of 2019, less than a year after Telltale's closure, it was announced that LCG Entertainment, which is a holding company, acquired Telltale Games, the IPs, assets, and technology. And one of the IPs Telltale still owned at this time included The Wolf Among Us. LCG opened a new Telltale Games headquarters in Malibu and started to work on bringing the studio back. And still at this time, we weren't sure if The Wolf Among Us would return. Once again, we didn't have to wait too long. A new teaser trailer was surprise released at the 2019 Game Awards, and the teaser was exactly that. It didn't really tell us anything we didn't know, except from the very last scene, we see now that AdHoc Studios is involved, which is a relatively new development team created before the fall of Telltale, and was founded by 4 developers who were at Telltale at one point or another. And after the teaser trailer itself, a lot of news came out about the title and what this new second season would cover. The first news we got was about platforms. The game will be coming to PC as an Epic Game Store exclusive, which could be seen as controversial depending on how you feel about the Epic Game Store, but it does make sense considering the fact the first Telltale went out of business. I bet Epic was offering a decent amount of money. Not too surprising that they would take a deal like this to make some extra money up front. The game was also announced as coming to consoles, but no specifics were given. But usually Telltale games are not very taxing on hardware, so this game could very likely come to the new current generation of consoles, so the PS5 and Xbox Series X, along with the new old generation of consoles, so the PS4 and Xbox One. We also learned that Adam Harrington will be returning as Bigby Wolf, Aaron Yvette will be returning as Snow White, and Jared Emerson Johnson is returning to compose the game's score. A few other details we were given is the studio will finally be shifting away from the in-house Telltale engine called the Telltale Tool, and will be shifting to using the Unreal Engine, which is exciting to hear. They have taken some of the criticism over their engine and graphics to heart. A lot of fans, if you played these games, know there have been issues, and a lot of fans have complained about how the game looks. And it looks like from this teaser trailer, they are still able to copy the graphic style of their old engine, but hopefully improve some of the visuals and improve what they can do in the engine itself. And it will also speed up development on these projects. The team stated that at this point the game still was only in pre-production, but the team still wants to keep the episodic style, so expect that. And the team is also going to develop all episodes simultaneously, which is not something they've always done before, and this means the time between releases of episodes should be consistent. And the final news about the revival I want to cover about The Wolf Among Us 2 was in regards to the team starting completely fresh on the development of the game and not using resources and story from the cancelled version before Telltale was shut down. The CEO of LCG Entertainment said, quote, "We have completely restarted the development of the game. We felt it best to give the new creative team a clean slate to start with." And once again, this isn't too surprising. If they are switching engines, I assume the first Wolf Among Us was being made in the Telltale in-house engine. So them switching to Unreal just gives them more of a reason rather than trying to convert assets. Let's just start completely new, give them a brand new slate to work with, and not hold them down to any previous ideas we were thinking about. And it also makes that first story and pitch that much more interesting if it ever gets revealed what the original would have been like. And the final development update we are given was after the 2020 Game Awards. When no update or trailer was shown off, Telltale released a response on Twitter and said, quote, "We know you're excited to hear more about The Wolf Among Us 2, and we look forward to telling you more when the time is right. What we can say is that we are developing the entire season at once, and there is more to do before we're ready to share what's next for the Fabletown gang. It's just not time yet." And it's important to know they are not shifting the release date here. They are still standing by 2021 as a release, and we should expect to see more about the title in the next few months once the marketing starts to pick up. And finally, let's close by discussing some of the leaks that have circulated mostly on Reddit around The Wolf Among Us 2. As always, take all leaks with a grain of salt, and usually leaks are hard to prove and disprove, but one nice thing about a project like The Wolf Among Us 2 is since the game is being released so soon in 2021, we don't really have to wait too much longer to see if the information is true or false regardless. So the first leak we got happened on the day of the Game Awards 2019, but before the show itself. An anonymous leaker said that Telltale was going to release Batman Shadows Edition and reveal The Wolf Among Us 2 in a 30-second trailer with no other information. The leaker then also includes GIFs from the alleged trailer, and now we know that The Wolf Among Us 2 was announced at the 2019 Game Awards, but the trailer we got is different than the GIFs that were included in the leak, so it is possible that the team shifted trailers or decided something else at the last second, or that this leak is just completely false. But either way, this one a lot of people come back to consider this leaker maybe did have real information. The next leak was a development update. The leak claimed that as of February of 2020, Wolf 2 was on hold, and the team had already made a variety of assets for the game, and all the core mechanics were in place and working. The team had also worked on locations and knows which ones will make it into the game, and those ones are completely done, such as Bigby's place, the Woodlands, a business office, and some New York street. But now the team is waiting for AdHoc to start the story so they know how to make the gameplay and story connect. And while Telltale is waiting for AdHoc to write the script, they are working on Poker Night 3 as a side project. The leaker claimed that Poker Night 3 would be released and revealed at E3, which clearly did not end up happening, but this could be explained because E3 was canceled this year completely. So the leak could still be true, and Telltale could be holding on to Poker Night 3 or still working on it behind the scenes, but we really don't know. And even the idea of AdHoc writing the script, they haven't really been too clear on which studio would be working on which projects, but it's completely possible that AdHoc is writing the script as Telltale is doing more of the actual game development. And the final leak happened in December of 2020. The leak claimed that we would be seeing a new Wolf Among Us 2 teaser trailer and a small developer update video. They say in the video, more members of the cast would be announced and more details would be given on the project. The game itself is said to be 5 episodes and will primarily be set in New York City, but Bigby will travel to Vermont to investigate a fable who went missing in the story. Snow White will also be playable at certain points of the story. The leak continues on and says the game will be released on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. It will not launch on the Nintendo Switch, and the current release date is planned for 2021. An image was also included with the leak that says all episodes of the game will be available in winter of 2021. And a lot of this lines up with rumors we have already heard, like the studio working on all 5 episodes at once, so it is possible the game still will be episodic, but the episodes will be released at once, similar to the Netflix release model. There was another image leak that was released, which can combine to the first leak to form the entire picture and this entire graphic that was created. And just after all of this, I want to reiterate again that take all these leaks with a grain of salt, but I tend to agree that, especially with this last leak, most of these were assumptions that most fans could have come to anyways. But yeah, a 2021 release in the winter sounds about right, the graphics look good, platforms sound right, so nothing here is out of the ordinary. So what should we expect from The Wolf Among Us 2? Well, for sure a release sometime in 2021, unless there is a massive delay, which doesn't seem to be the case. It also seems like the game will be available on many platforms, but will be slightly limited to PC players who don't use the Epic Game Store. And if rumors are to be believed, it looks like all episodes will be released in winter of 2021. And that for the most part is everything we know about The Wolf Among Us Season 2 and where I'm going to end this video. Make sure to like and share, subscribe for weekly gaming news, and I will see you guys in the next one.